Get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into the Husker Extra Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Streaming worldwide for you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, as well as Allo Channel 951. Big thanks to Allo for everything they do. Exceptional service with local heart. They've got our internet up and running here. They've got mine at home. Really appreciate Allo and everything they do. Let's go to the Allo VIP line and bring in Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald. Sam, a tough day for the Huskers yesterday, and another warm day out here today. 45-7, the Huskers fall. You're sitting there in the press box. You're hearing from Matt Rule and the players after the game. Do you have any big takeaways from this one?
Yeah, I think by the game, you kind of saw a little bit of where his mindset is at, and wanting to get back out there and play another game. Didn't think Nebraska played with the edge that it needed to play with, the emotional or the physical edge that was required. Thought they were a little tentative, a little half step slow, and there's no way to play Michigan. You can do a lot of things against Michigan. You can't do that because Michigan will just kind of take it, and they won't humiliate you. It's not like playing Colorado where if you miss a tackle, it might be a touchdown, or you're playing Ohio State and that kind of thing can happen. Michigan is more kind of like a dull hammer just hitting on you over and over. And over the course of 4 quarters, you're just gonna feel it, and then they're gonna wear you down. So I think that's an area where Nebraska had to play with a little bit more aggression and edge and fire and toughness. Didn't really deliver that. I do think Luke Reimer going to the hospital probably played a role. I think Deshaun Singleton getting hurt early probably played a role. The defense is sort of the heart and soul of the team, and it was missing some of their guys. That doesn't help. Simultaneously, defense has to play with more fire. Offensively, it's an offense that's trying to be so many different things that one of the areas where Nebraska is really going to have to nail down, and they'll have to do this in the bye week, I assume, is say, okay, what's the identity going to be? What is the identity? What's the offense going to be? Who is it going to be? What is it going to decide to do well? How in the heck can they get more skilled players on the field? Because where they're at this point, and this is something it's almost remarkable, but Nebraska's basically playing 40 to 45 snaps a game, and one running back with a little bit of Emmett Johnson, and basically 3 wide receivers. And they're rotating 3 tight ends, and the fullback was hurt. I mean, it's just kind of all over the place. I mean, they're trying to utilize as many pieces as they have possible, but it's just notable to me that receivers can't get on the field. And it just makes you like, what do they got to do to? And they're not running enough plays, I guess, to get receivers on the field, and they're not running a tempo, so maybe the receivers aren't getting tired. But what does Nebraska need to do to figure out how to get more skilled players on the football field? Because right now that's an overarching concern, clearly.
So, Sam, in your column that you have up on omaha.com, you said another Nebraska scoring implosion on a day they honor the scoring explosion from 40 years ago in 1983. Before the year, too, and what you said on your Pick Six podcast, what you said in some of your columns, too, is you had a pretty good idea of what this offense wanted to do. Have they stuck to that plan? Or like you said, are they still searching for that identity and now you're not sure exactly what this offense is?
Well, I think before the season, Nebraska had a pretty good sense of what it wanted to try to accomplish. I'll be honest. I had a pretty good idea of how the defense, the level of effort and execution the defense would bring to the table. I think when Nebraska was at full strength offensively before the season, with all of its backs, people saw in the Minnesota game kind of what they wanted to be. It was going to be a shotgun quarterback power run game with power run game, play action pass, deep throws, some stuff to the tight ends. Jeff Sims gets hurt. Heinrich Haarberg comes in. Ron Brown suggests looking at some option cut-ups, and all of a sudden Nebraska's, running some option plays and some 1980s style toss pitches. And that, again, that's all fine. I mean, I think those are interesting things. And Nebraska got a couple of wins out of it, beating Northern Illinois and Louisiana Tech. All of those things sort of, disappeared against Michigan. What worked against Michigan was putting Haarberg in the shotgun, letting him throw the ball to Marcus Washington and Billy Kemp, and trying to eat that way. Like the speed options and the off block options and load options and inside handoffs that notice they tried a couple of those. Those are all neat plays. It takes a long time to to get really good at executing that stuff. And honestly, Nebraska's offensive line is built for 2023 professional style run plays. It's not a group of 268 pounders, cut blocking all over the place like an option line would be. So, and Nebraska's going to have to figure these things out. I don't pretend to know exactly what they're going to do. I know the option offense is arcane to the point where it's actually novel, that it's hard to stop at times. But Nebraska just doesn't have enough in the arsenal to just limit itself to that. So there's a lot going on there. I think Nebraska's trying to find what it wants to be. It's been challenging. I do think Haarberg's probably going to be the guy, but the offense is a struggle bus for sure, and have to try to find ways to score 21, 24 points a week, and that's not always easy to do.
I'm glad you brought up Haarberg. Let's go there next. You say you think he's the guy. It's hard to argue otherwise at this point. But even with 7 games left on the schedule, have you seen enough positive flashes from Heinrich Haarberg? Do you think there's enough in his pedigree and his skill set to say that Nebraska doesn't have to go into the transfer portal for a quarterback in the offseason? Can he be the guy that gets them to, the first year of Daniel Kalen? Or does Nebraska still need to go, portal diving?
Well, that question is probably one that is better answered, a month from now. You'll have a larger body of work, and it won't be against Michigan or Group of 5 teams. That is a good question. I'm sure that's a question that as somebody who's running Nebraska football, Matt Rule, has to think about every day. Now, it's not like you spend an hour every day thinking about it, but you ask yourself each day, do we have the guy? Do we have the guy in the room? Do we have the leader? Do we have the athlete? Do we have the quarterback? Do we have the passer? Do we have the guy in the room? Or do we need to keep looking for the guy? And I wouldn't put anything I wouldn't put any certitude on Danny Kalen. I think Danny's a good player and has had moments this season, but you never know what a quarterback's going to be until he gets to college. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, in the case of a guy like Michael Penix, who's at Washington, you don't know until he gets to the right school. He was okay at Indiana, but he wasn't great, and he's great now. And sometimes you don't know until year 3, like with J.J. McCarthy. So, there's all kinds of pieces there. I think Nebraska has to be on the perpetual lookout for the best quarterback it can land, whoever that might be. That they can't stop looking because, unless they feel like they have an NFL draft pick on their roster. And I don't know what they feel about Haarberg. I know they think he's a great athlete, and I know they like aspects of his skill set, certainly a good runner. I think Haarberg looks good when he's in the shotgun and he's able to kind of get comfortable throwing the ball a little bit. I think he's probably got to do more of that, and that might come with some growing pains, but I think he does have the ability to throw the ball for 300 yards. I really do. I do. I think he's got the arm strength and the skill set. He just needs seasoning and time, and a couple of wins along the way would really help. It's going to depend on. Go ahead.
I say there might be one of those, on the docket this Friday against an Illinois team that just got shredded by Purdue. I mean, down Jeff Brom, Aiden O'Connell out the door. Purdue with Hudson Card still runs up 44 points on the Illini defense. Is this a chance for Heinrich Haarberg to show off that 300-yard arm, for Nebraska to figure some stuff out offensively?
I would be surprised if they threw for 300 yards, but I do think Nebraska has a chance to win the game for sure. I don't know. Did the line come out yet? I haven't seen
either.
I'm not sure there's a line out yet, but I'll take a look here. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a chance to win that game for sure. Illinois is mistake prone. What I would say about Illinois is they're kind of mistake prone. They've done a lot of dumb things this year, penalties, turnovers, defensive busts. I don't know that Nebraska is going to necessarily, quote unquote, make them pay for any of that stuff. So Nebraska has to play with a little bit of aggression. Illinois is a 3-point favorite, which is basically a pick 'em. And that stadium will be, half empty. I guarantee you it will. I mean, Illinois fans aren't gonna come to that Friday night, and not that, I don't know. I'd be surprised if there were more than 25,000 fans there. Nebraska will probably have 5. So it'll be a bring your own juice kind of game. And Nebraska's going to have to bring its own energy and be ready to play a game that isn't necessarily in front of a full house. They probably won't mind that based on the first 2 road games they had. But, I think they've got a shot to win that game. But, we have to be honest about where Nebraska's at, and we have to be honest about what we've seen. I think Nebraska's defense is getting beat up a little bit after 5 games. They play awfully hard. They hit awfully hard. And I think the guys have gotten hurt, and they probably need to get to a bye week and heal up, so to speak. So we'll see. I think Matt Rule certainly made a comment. I don't think Matt Rule went into the press conference thinking he was going to say that. Maybe he did. But by the end of that press conference on Saturday night, Matt Rule's already suddenly saying stuff that I'm not sure he was going to say. And maybe it was because of some of the questions he was asked by reporters who have seen a lot more of these kind of games than Rule has. And maybe he was like, what are you guys talking about? We got pushed around. And I think he got a little fired up at the end, where it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, of course that wasn't okay. And you're going to find out a lot about who we are in 6 days. He may have told the team that. I don't know if he planned on saying that to the reporters, but it came out. So I think what he was kind of trying to do is say, we're going to find out who we are based on how we respond coming up. And so Nebraska is going to have a response this week, and they're going to be tired and they're going to be beat up. So they're going to have to figure it out on the run.
That they will in Champaign on Friday night. But then to your point, Sam, they get a bye week and a day. Playing on Friday gives them that Saturday off and then the full bye week before they come back home for Northwestern. I'm not going to lie, it's a little scary when you say Nebraska is going to have to bring its own juice. I think you're right on that. But if you can't get up and you can't play energized against Michigan at home in front of a full crowd, again, Reimer being out before the game, Singleton leaving early offensive struggles. I get it. There's a human element that plays into it. But if you can't get juiced up for Michigan, how are you supposed to say, oh, yeah, we'll all of a sudden get juiced up for a sleepy Illinois?
That's a good question. Sometimes teams get energized and galvanized by going on the road. And I think the heat probably played a role on Saturday. It was very hot. Fans, it's not that they showed up late, but I think there's just an expectation of, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. And then, Michigan kind of shoved it down Nebraska's throat. And then there's a pick to Nebraska's second play, 14-0. Crowd's out of the game. I turned to a colleague and said, this thing's probably over because, again, Nebraska needed to come out fast. I don't think they're going to beat anybody this year if they're behind by 14 points. I really don't. I think they have a hard time coming back against teams that just don't have that kind of offense. So that's going to be a long process this year. You can't fall behind by 14 to Michigan and expect to win a football game. I don't know. I'm not sure. Now, not that it always matters. Nebraska came out ready to play against Oklahoma last year. Go up 7-0, get a stop. That didn't matter. They still lost 49-14. So, emotion's only so much. But I do know that you're going to have to play. You're going to have to play at a pitch to go after Michigan, and we're still just watching Rule kind of work his process a little bit and work through this. I think what's new for him, at least at the collegiate level, is the level of attention and I don't know what the right word is. At Baylor, I'm not saying they didn't expect him to struggle, but Baylor had been through a ton of turmoil, and so I think he handled the off the field stuff so well that the on the field product, fans and the media had grace and mercy for that. I think at Temple nobody cared, and so let's be honest, there was probably about 2 people at their press conferences, maybe 5. I don't know. I don't want to disparage Temple too much, but and so there wasn't a lot of attention there, and they just kind of got to do what they wanted to do. At Nebraska, there's 45 people at every game, and the first question, and it was a good question from your guys' colleague at 93.7, was from my vantage point, it looked like he got pushed around, and so Rules eventually is immediately presented with this idea of, yeah, you guys got shoved around, and he's immediately put on the defense. He's like, well, that's not what I don't want to say that. And I get it. I totally understand that he wants to go into a press conference and give Michigan a bunch of credit and be real sanguine and, even keeled about his team's performance and all those other things. But, you're going to get rattled from that at Nebraska because fans are starting to get tired of seeing this. And I think at the one thing that fans were kind of hanging the hat on this season so far was the defense, and the defense didn't play very well. Special teams didn't play very well. Offense didn't play very well again. So I think people will check out this time around. With Frost, it was more, hey, he's one of us, and we'll stick there even if the team stinks, and it did. But this isn't that. This is, Frost didn't work, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the fan base about whether anything's going to work. And so, you better bring some juice as the coach and as a team, and earn the attention of the fan base, and that's where it's becoming. It's going to be an earning kind of deal. The Nebraska volleyball team is available for fans to enjoy and root for, and they will continue to do so if that's the only option they're given.
I think earning attention is a good way to phrase it too, based on, what he had to do in, busy sports town in Philadelphia and at little old Baylor, out of the way in Waco, not much going on down there. But I think it speaks to something that our own Jay Foreman has said, that this is the biggest job of any of these, coaches' lives, even the ones that have been in the NFL. The level of attention, scrutiny, passion in Nebraska fans is just different. So they're 5 games into a learning curve on that. But Sam, we'll let you go with this one. You mentioned, Nebraska fans are tired of it, of seeing the same thing year after year. 45-7 maybe isn't quite as bad as, 62-3, 48-7, 56-7, like we've seen, in the last 8-9 years at Nebraska. Did this game 45-7 feel similar to some of those other ones? Did it feel different in any way? How do you judge 45-7 to Michigan versus, 48-7 or 62-3 against an Ohio State?
Well, you didn't want to hide your eyes, and in some of those games, that's exactly what you wanted to do. Especially the 2019 Ohio State game, 2016 Ohio State win. I mean, that was a total weird game anyway. With Armstrong going to the hospital and then walking onto the field and all that other stuff. That was I love Mike Riley, but he just mismanaged the program. Rule's not that. I mean, I didn't think they looked incompetent. They didn't commit 6 personal fouls, any of those things. I just feel like, what's starting to set in is just a lack of surprise. Like what you're not necessarily reading these, oh my God, horror shows after the game, and you're not seeing necessarily that from fans. I think what you're starting to see from fans is, yeah, they're not very good. We didn't expect much anyway. We're not mad. We're kind of whatever. And, we'll check back in when they're good. And so I think that's part of what you're starting to run into a little bit with the program is that a 45-7 loss just sort of rolls off everybody's back. It's not It's not we've been through these before. I don't think Nebraska quit. I think their players play hard. I think they care. I think the culture down there seems pretty good, but it just doesn't feel like it feels like the gap is large, and that there's just one thing I'll say about is this. We talk a lot about the black shirts and about defense, and I do think defense wins championships. So when Nebraska got really good in the 90s, the defense was the lion's share for why. I mean, that defense got really good, and it made the offense better. Nebraska fans love offense, and they do. They love option quarterbacks. They love running backs. They love receivers. They love offense. They just love offense. You can talk to people now, and they'll be like, Joe Gans, oh, my God. So Nebraska needs to score points. This is a fan base that likes points. And it's hard. It can be hard to watch at times because you don't know exactly what you're going to watch week in and week out. Nebraska needs to find an offense that reflects, toughness, but also the ability to score. There's a lot of thought processes around what Nebraska fans want, and again, I understand all of the underlying moral foundation that. But I've lived in this state my whole life, and so I'm confident in what I think fans want. Fans like points. They like points. They like running backs that score long touchdowns, receivers who do the same, and quarterbacks who put up big numbers. That's what they like. Nebraska has to find a way to get that kind of team, and they can do that running the pro style. They can do that doing something else. But Nebraska fans enjoy points. Not that the Iowa style wouldn't work over here, but Nebraska fans enjoy points. So we'll see how they do with that.
Guilty as charged. I'm one of them. I will fully admit that. Sam, as always, appreciate the time. Have a good rest of your week. Appreciate it again.
You bet. Take care.
There he is, Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald with us here on our Allo VIP line. Exceptional service with local heart. Check out Allo Fiber for all your home internet needs. We're going to step aside. When we get back, we'll bring in Sam's colleague, Tom Chattel, also of the Omaha World Herald. We'll do that as we continue the Husker Extra Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Be sure and call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technician will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
If you struggle with joint pain, there's good news. You don't need surgery to get back to full health. South Point Medical and Aesthetics offers breakthrough non-surgical options for treatment of moderate to severe joint pain. Our patients experience little to no downtime from our procedures, and the results are remarkable. They've had 14 years of successful treatments with patients from 35 states because of an effective word-of-mouth traffic. Learn more about how you can get lasting results for joint pain today at southpointmedical.com or call 402-323-8400. Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
Summer is winding down, but there's no reason to put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Sign up today for 9-hole leagues this fall, any day from Monday to Friday, starting on September 25th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Call today at 402-742-0140.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
It's football season, and that means coaches everywhere are busy making game plans. I'm Matt Knipe with Liberty Law Group. Teams make game plans because no two opponents are the same. At Liberty Law, we understand that no two cases are the same. Whether facing a DUI, criminal charge, or you were injured and it wasn't your fault, we tailor our legal game plan to meet your unique needs. We are relentless trial attorneys serving all of Nebraska. To learn more, go to libertylawnebraska.com. That's libertylawnebraska.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Husker Extra Hour. We go to our Allo VIP line, and we welcome in Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald, breaking down Nebraska's 45-7 loss to Michigan yesterday. Tom, how are you doing? Thanks for persevering through life and to be on the show today.
Yeah, we needed a new car battery. All good. Thank you, AAA.
AAA is a lifesaver. Do you think AAA has a couple extra batteries for the Nebraska offense?
Well, I hope so. They need it. Yeah, it's hard to take away anything from that game yesterday. I think it would have been a better gauge if they were 2 or 3 years into a rebuild. But with an offensive line that isn't there quite yet, and receivers that they don't know who those guys are, it's tough. And that Michigan defense could just, that's what teams are going to try to do to Nebraska. They're going to try to make them throw it and stop the run. And Michigan just does it. That's the most talented Michigan team you'll see, maybe not ever, but it's on the list. So it's a mismatch. We knew it would be. I think the better gauge are all the games coming up.
Starting with Illinois on Friday. That's a big one, a short turnaround, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But Tom, your column up on omaha.com, the title is Nebraska football must learn to hate losing more than it loves winning. Shouldn't matter if you're, the mid-90s Huskers, 80s, 70s, 50s Oklahoma, or Vanderbilt or Northwestern or anyone in between. Playing with fire shouldn't be a problem. But if that's what your takeaway from this game is, that Nebraska didn't have the fire and there's no real reason for it, that's not a great place to be 5 games into a season.
Well, yeah, and these guys don't know what a lot of that means because all they've done is lose. And it's maybe not a fair comparison because Nebraska for years had those kind of players. They went out and they recruited those kind of guys. They didn't. They certainly had the Roziers and those guys, but they didn't always recruit. Their recruiting classes were not always top 10 or top 20. In fact, they were rarely up there that high. So, but they got guys who were football players and who fit their scheme and their program, but also wanted to win. And you're not going to see that yesterday. It's not going to happen. But I think, and you may not see it next week. But I think to me, that's what you can have talent, you can have coaching, you can have development. Those are the things. You can be physical. All those things are very important. And then that's the kind of program that Matt Rule wants to build. But he brought it up, and I'm glad he did. Got a little light went off in my head, thinking, yeah, that's what's missing. Is they need some badasses who are going to put their foot down and say no more, and we're done with losing. We're going to start, we're going to start getting pissed off. We're going to start playing. If you don't, if you hate losing, you don't miss blocks. You hang on to the ball. You make simple plays. You make big plays. You do whatever you can. My favorite image from one of the bygone years was one of my all-time favorite Huskers, Mike Brown, safety, number 21, 1999 Colorado game. Nebraska's trying to give it away. They have the lead. They're trying to choke it and give it to the Buffs. And Mike Brown would have none of it. In overtime, he went in and to make a tackle, but he reached in and he literally stole the ball from the running back, and he just would not take losing. He would just take that was not an option for him. So he went and he stole the ball. And those are the kind of things you do when and obviously you're not going to do that every game, but this is the dynamic that a rule wants to. It has to mean a lot. It has to mean more. And I just saw myself yesterday sitting on the right going, well, I've written this column before, and don't worry about Michigan, don't worry about the games ahead. Forget this one, flush it, and it's about this and about that, and so on and so forth about Northwestern, Purdue, blah blah blah, and and then I was going through the rule thing. I'm going, this is the angle right here. This is what this is all about, and because I still see this season as one long project. That they go to a bowl game, great. They need to go to a bowl game. If they don't go, you move on, and you hope you got better this year. I don't see this as any of a make or break here. There's too many pieces that aren't there yet, but can they coach up what they have? That's what we're going to be watching the second half of the season. But can they light a fire on these guys and say, man, it really sucks to lose. Don't you hate it? And I don't know how you do that, but you might have to go out and recruit it. But it'd be interesting to see if they can. There might be some guys on this team like a Luke Reimer who just can't stand losing. There might be some guys like that, and I think that'll be interesting to see if they can do that.
Luke Reimer, who ends up in the hospital before the game, definitely didn't help matters for Nebraska. But Tom, as you wrote in your column too, the most important thing he can do this year is the hardest in lighting that fire. And we've had that discussion a couple times here at the Ticket is, who is that on? Is it on the coaches or the players? The answer is both. Like, it's on Matt Rule and his coaching staff to figure out how to talk to their players, figure out what it is that lights that fire. But at some point, you're playing major college football. You're in the Big Ten. Yeah. You should know what's at stake. It shouldn't take, this big pep talk. Like, you just wake up and play the game, right? So I think coaches need to take ownership of it, but also the players do.
Absolutely. And we'll even reference that by saying, well, it's no excuse, but in, today's world, players aren't always like that, or they don't always take the ownership or care as much, or they have other things going on, and that's always a challenge. But yeah, every coach will tell you the best teams are run by the players.
Mm-hmm.
The players are the leaders, and they're all leaders, not just a couple. And if they see somebody dogging it or not pulling their weight, they police it. They get after them, and that's what it's going to take. And I know these coaches know that, and they know it when they see it. It takes a while to get there. Very rarely does it happen overnight. But I'd like to see it this year, and I think we can. And sometimes you have to win a couple and, get fired up. And, man, and not necessarily Louisiana, but go beat somebody, that it's pretty good, or maybe a game you weren't supposed to win. And it feels so good that next time you lose, man, I want to get that winning back. So, I don't know. It's about competitive spirit too, and those guys are out there. We see them in Nebraska high schools all the time. They're everywhere. So it's just it's a balance. You got to find some of those guys to go with everybody else. But how do you, certainly Michigan looks like they just had overwhelmed Nebraska with talent. But I guarantee you, those guys don't want to. They're programmed in that program not to lose, and they'll do anything they can not to lose. So I think it'll happen, and I like the fact that he recognized it. I hadn't heard that in a while around that building.
We're talking with Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald here on our Allo VIP line. A lot of room to go, but I think this is fair to say, Tom, there's not another Michigan on the schedule, but there's also not another Northern Illinois. Everyone's going to be comparable in some way to Nebraska, maybe more talented, maybe better coached, but certainly with flaws. You have a team like that with Illinois, then a bye week, Northwestern, Purdue, and then the month of November. I think that month of November is a chance where you can get a couple of those games against a high-flying Maryland team, against a Wisconsin team that seems at least a step or two ahead of Nebraska right now. And even Iowa down at starting quarterback, that defense is still that defense. So I think you're absolutely right. November could be the proving ground for this team to show you it has that fire, could it not?
Absolutely. They got to get on a run now. They're certainly we're all sitting there going, "Hey, they can win this game and that game." Well, the other teams are saying that about Nebraska too.
Right.
Hey, we can go into Lincoln and win that game. So I can't wait to see this defense against these other teams. I think it's going to hold up well. We got to get the kicker going a little bit. He's got to start hitting those field goals, but I think he will. And he's certainly good enough. But they got to find a couple of just an option or two for Harburg. Get the tight ends more into it. There's got to be Washington. He missed one, yesterday. Somehow get him going. Mm-hmm. There's got to be another option at a camp. We're all kind of looking at, well, how's Coleman doing? Is he getting up there yet? And I understand the sort of balance, if you want to call it. Where they're trying to bring him along slow, and but they also want to win games. They want to see what he can do. Now there might be some guys like that the young pups maybe get on the field, down the road, and but then they're going to need some more options on offense. Certainly not everybody is going to have Michigan's defense. Nobody's going to have Michigan's defense. Iowa's going to have a defense, but I watched Michigan State last night, and they didn't have a whole lot going on. They did, they gave Iowa some trouble, but they weren't scoring a lot of points on Iowa either. And Purdue surprised me. I don't know what to make of Purdue, and I don't know what to make of Illinois either. So, Northwestern, they, rose up and bit Minnesota, but they gave Penn State a tussle, and then all of a sudden Penn State ran away from them. So I think they're all going to be tough games, in their own right. It's just a matter of making plays and get a few turnovers. That would help too. But they're all going to be interesting. The bowl game is certainly on the table, but they're going to have to find a way to get in the end zone. And if they could get a little passing game to open up that run, I think they could have a running game that they could give some folks some problems. But not if they're one dimensional.
Talent matters, coaching matters. You said that in your column. You've said it here and, plenty of times throughout the season. But Tom, as we let you go here, are there any players you're looking at, whether they're, juniors that'll be seniors next year, freshmen that have stood out and impressed you, that won't just get on the field, but to your point, will, spark some of that fire and become the next emotional leaders for the good Nebraska teams?
Yeah. Lenhart is a guy. He didn't play yesterday, but I like him, and I think he's going to be a defensive leader. And I really think get him healthy, get him back out there. He's going to be fun to watch. And offensively, I think Harburg's got the look. I think people commented in the press box yesterday that it's his team now. He's got the feel. He's got to. He's got to watch the. I don't know if he's had to get the sidearm everything to get, but he didn't have any problem getting passes batted down against Louisiana and Northern Illinois, but he sure did against Michigan. So, I mean, I don't know what that's all about. Just Michigan or what, but I think Harburg. To me, that's going to be a sort of a side story to watch. Is he the next guy, or is he just sort of like, is this just his year and they're going to go out and get somebody next year in the portal? Or you've got Kalen coming in from Bellevue West. I expect him necessarily to play next year, but where does Harburg fit into the future? And is this season sort of an audition for him, maybe to be that guy? Not writing off Sims, but Harburg, there's no reason not to play him the rest of the way unless he gets hurt. So, and hopefully he won't get hurt. So, I think this is Harburg's team right now. He has not been the kind of guy that has had a lot of meltdowns. Certainly, there've been a couple turnovers, but he was pretty solid. They just got to give him a little more help. But I think that's the story I'm kind of looking at is he the guy for next year or two, or it's his, and then a lot of it I think will depend on how he plays the rest of the way.
You and I are watching the same thing, asking the same questions, and I know that if that's the case, I'm generally thinking the right way or in the right spot. Tom Chattel, thanks as always. I know I've read enough to know I'm generally in the right spot. Tom, again, appreciate it. Have a good rest of your week.
All right, thanks a lot. See you tomorrow. See you next week.
Yes, sir. There he is, Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald, with us on our Allo VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, exceptional service with local heart. We got one segment left here on the Husker Extra Hour. When that's done, we'll bring in the Husker Rewind guys. Melby and Tom sitting waiting in the wings. We'll bring them in here in just a couple minutes as we wrap up the Husker Extra Hour.
Your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture of your home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite Tailored Light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
Guys, you've heard me tell you all about Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, but it's not just me. Folks all over town are having success with the FXB program. Guys like Gary, who just finished up his own 10-week challenge.
Yeah, Mark. After having a knee replacement in March, I was looking for a way to get back into shape. The workouts are fun. The atmosphere is a total blast. And I've lost 17 pounds since starting in July.
The next Farrell's 10-week challenge begins on October 7th, and ticket listeners get $150 off enrollment. Just head to theticketfm.com. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Austin Norman with you for just a second here inside the 93.7 The Ticket studios. Turning it over to Tom and Mike here for the Husker Rewind. They'll be with you for the next couple of hours. Big thanks again to Sam McEwen and Tom Chatal of the Omaha World Herald for joining me here on the Husker Extra Hour. The Royals end the season victorious. 5-2 Royals beat the Yankees. Royals avoid a franchise low point, avoid a franchise high in losses. 56-106, the final record for your Kansas City Royals. I'm out of here. Turning it over to Tom and Mike. They'll be with you for the next couple hours here on the Husker Rewind. Join you soon.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Get all of your favorite restaurants delivered with VenueDelivered.com. One place for ordering delicious appetizers, refreshing salads, hot entrees, fresh sandwiches, and more. From Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, and all Lincoln Good Sense Subs locations. Download our phone app to earn rewards on all of your carryout and delivery orders. Available on Apple and Android, just search for the Pillar Restaurants app. That's the Pillar Restaurants app. Download today.
Warning, this ad will use the F word often, so listen at your own risk. Family fun, fun with friends, freedom from fuel, free Yeti cooler, free driveway delivery. Hey, this is Carl from Nebraska Golf Carts and Price Right Auto, and we have the all-electric Bentelli Fun Carts, and they are a blast. Plenty of fun colors, and these street-legal cars come in both 4 and 6 passenger. Tell us you heard us on the ticket and get a free Yeti cooler with your purchase. Hurry, supply is limited. Check them out at 1235 West O in Lincoln or NebraskaGolfCarts.com.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card for only $24.99 a month.
you'll enjoy an upgraded experience with tons of perks.
Like access to more than 2,000 locations worldwide?
Yep.
And massage chairs?
Yes.
Can I bring a friend every time?
Sure.
Can my friend be a horse?
Nay. Sorry.
So
Get
when
the
this commercial
PF Black
breaks down,
Card and
just go
feel
to-
spectacular. Only
to Freight.
$24.99 a month.
Okay. Is the
Our most
stuff
popular
in?
membership, the PF Black Card, is your ticket to getting all the perks. Join today. See Club for details.
It's football season in
Okay.
Nebraska.
And all
that
the
means
stuff
coaches
is
are
in
busy making
already?
game plans. I'm
Okay,
Eric
thank
Hagan
you.
at Liberty Law.
Appreciate that.
Teams make game plans because no two opponents are the same. At Liberty Law, we understand no two cases are the same. Whether facing a DUI,
I can't open
criminal
it yet.
charge, or you were injured and it wasn't your fault, we tailor our legal game plan to meet your
Until
unique
all
needs.
till we get to the
Liberty
break.
Law's relentless trial attorneys serve all of Nebraska. To learn more, visit libertylawnebraska.com.
Once I hit the open, then I
That's
can get into that stuff. Okay. All right.
Tailored Lights
All
is
right.
your go-to local manufacturer
we're on
and
mic
installer of the
1
best
and 2.
landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture
Mic 1
of
and
your
3.
home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite tailored light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators,